It's Sunday the 4th of July 21. I'm just going out for a little run up the beach. I've just come to the end, to the green lighthouse. And this is the edge. I think I've described this before. This is the harbour wall coming out of Scheveningen's, or the Scheveningen's harbour wall. And there you can see Scheveningen over there. The Hague is just behind it as well, so this looks like the beach area of the Hague, if you like. It was a separate town, but you wouldn't know the difference now. It's a big conurbation. So I'm going to head up the coast. I'll give a better view later. You've seen me before go up through the dunes. I'm going to try going along the beach to start with. Got my trail shoes on to see how that goes, and then go up to Kijkduin, and I'll see how I feel at Kijkduin, whether I carry on further towards Monster or not, and then just do a little circuit and then come back through the dunes, through that Westduinpark. So there's quite an extensive park in behind the dunes there of woodland, and a few trails in there as well that you can follow. So that's the plan at the moment. So I'll be gone for about an hour and a half on this run, but that's all good. I've been fully vaccinated now, so as of start of the week I got my second jab, so hopefully that'll free things up to travel when I head back home and start going into places a little bit more. So we'll see. Anyway, just taking it easy at the moment, avoiding contact, and yeah, taking it easy. But it's a nice day. It's actually, it doesn't look that nice, but it actually feels really nice. It's been very humid recently. We've had a lot of storms rolling through, and so that's made it very hot and humid, and it's there's a little bit of a breeze, but it's still, the ambient temperature is still pretty warm. You know, it's up there close to 20 degrees or something like that. So anyway, let's see what we do on this run. So I'm coming along the shore. It's actually quite hard going because the tide's coming quite a way. Normally there's quite a kind of flat, harder surface you can run on. You can see it's very narrow at the moment, and the rest of it's soft sand. So I might well cut in off the beach, because this is getting quite exhausting really. It's good training, but pretty tiring. So I'm probably just going to cut in before Kijkduin, and then I'll go on the trails through the dunes and carry on that way. A little bit easier to run on. So there's one of the beach restaurants. It does a roaring trade. They actually, a lot of them keep open all through the winter, particularly last winter, you know, just serving hot drinks outside. But now of course they can have guests actually in the restaurant, as we've pretty much removed most of the restrictions. They're still restricted on floor space undercover, actually inside, but outside that's pretty unencumbered. Don't have to wear a mask. I'm not sure about that one with the Delta virus on the rise here. They might have to bring the masks back. They say, oh, it's only in situations like public transport where you can't keep your distance. But you go into some supermarkets, some shops, there's just not enough space in there. So I'm still wearing my mask. I know a lot of my public health colleagues are as well. Anyway, so that's Kijkduin. So I'm just a little bit over halfway, probably from the harbour up to there. So as I said, I'm going to cut in now because that was exhausting, because there's no hard shore to run on, and yeah, good for training your muscles, but not good for duration really, and enjoying yourself. So I'm going to go and duck into the dunes now and just run along the trails up towards Kijkduin and see how I do from there. You see the dunes really come alive at this time of year with all the flowers and everything. So all the grasses actually hold it all together. So that's where I'm heading. You see it's a bit more of it's a hard trail, but it is a trail, so a little bit easier to run on. So I did a turn around in the other side of Kijkduin, coming back through the eastern part of the West Dunes, and it's heating up. It doesn't look like it, but it really is quite warm. So I've started taking it easy and doing a walk run. So every kilometre I'm walking for about 100 metres, 100 yards or so, and then going back into a run. Partly that's for practice if I go back and start doing long trail runs again when I get back home. Also to preserve my energy a little bit, because it really is more zapping than I was expecting it to be today. Again, the humidity is so high because of all the thunderstorms we've been having. Anyway, I'm going to get back into the run now. I've got about 3 kilometres, 2 miles to get back home now. So pretty much on the home straight now. We're getting nice and easy. So just a quick update on coronavirus situation. The rates of after they've gone right down in the UK, have continued going up. I think they're about mid 20,000 a day, about 26,000 I think new infections per day. At the moment that hasn't manifested itself too much in hospital admissions, although they are starting to creep up. I think they hit about 350 yesterday, so they've gone up about 100 per day in the last week. But hopefully the vaccine of double vaccination of 62% of the population and at least one vaccine for over 80% is starting to provide a little bit of a barrier. But you've got to think of it a little bit like a dam wall. You know, if that cracks or breaks at any point, then you're likely to, people who've still been vaccinated have still got a chance of getting infected, although it's a much reduced chance, about a 20th, 1 in 20 chance compared with somebody who's unvaccinated. But there's still a chance if there's enough infection around, then you could well, particularly when you start mixing. So this so-called Freedom Day on the 19th of July really needs to be very carefully managed and thought about. Infections here aren't creeping up. The Delta variants now making up, as of about a week ago, about 20% of the infections here. So it's following the pattern in the UK. Eventually it'll overwhelm the Alpha variant and be the dominant coronavirus variant, that's because it's so much more infectious and it produces much more cold-like symptoms as well. So I'm wondering whether that is part of its makeup that makes it so much more infectious. But hopefully they've hard accelerated the vaccine rollout here. So it was lagging behind places like the UK by at least a month. It's steadily playing catch up. And actually you can get vaccinated now if you're a teenager, older teenager that is. They haven't approved it for younger teens yet. And the infections are up about 1,000 a day now, so it has increased. Nothing like the level of the UK. That's equivalent to about a quarter of what the UK rate is, because remember the population's smaller here. So in other words, the UK's got 4 times as many infections per population. But yeah, hopefully the vaccine will act as a boundary. Anyway, I'm on my way back. This has got one of the horse trails, goes through the dunes, so it's very loose soil and sand. But it's a good workout and gets you off the trail. There's a lot more people around now because it's into holiday season. They have a split holiday season in the Netherlands, so depending on which region you live in, your children go on holiday from school kind of a week apart, as it were. So there's a week stagger. So I think it's the south of Holland comes a week after the north of Holland, for example. Anyway, so it's very pleasant, lots of people around enjoying being outside, where it's good and healthy to be. And yeah, I've had a very exhausting but a very enjoyable run today. It's always good to get out into this sort of country environment, particularly when you live on the edge of a big city. So this is a path I've used in the past. I knew it had got blocked off a little while ago. For some reason somebody's cut trees and put them across. You can see it's a well-worn path. It's been here a long time. It's marked on the maps. Obviously I can't go into this area. This is land. Now for some reason That brown, that's electrified. I've just found that out. I just tested it. I was suspicious of it because if you notice, it's got little rubber grommets on it. So that's pretty antisocial because this is actually a path. So there's an electrified fence. You know, to my mind, if they want to put an electrified fence, they should put it on the other side. Farmers may argue with me, but I think it's pretty antisocial on a closed path like this, putting an electric fence right on the path. So if you make a mistake, if you trip, you get a belt. Okay, it's not life-threatening normally, can be, but yeah, it's not very nice. Anyway, so I've got to find another way around this. I can go back, but the path I want is right there. So that's a bit nuts, and I don't want to climb over there because, as you can see, I'll possibly fall into the electric fence, and I'm not in the mood to do that. So I'll find another way round and hopefully get around. Anyway, just little trials and tribulations of paths when people start mucking about and closing paths without warning people. But anyway, everything else has been fine, so that's good. Yes, I got around that fairly quickly actually, because people had just pushed their way through and made another path. So it's a bit nuts having that. You can see this electric fence all the way along here. I think I remember them putting it up earlier on the year or last year. Now this is a main thoroughfare, as you can see. The other one was a minor path. I really don't know why they've put in the electric fence right on it. I don't know what the devil they're protecting in there, other than trying to stop the Highland cattle and some of the goat, sheep getting in there. As I say, why they don't put it on the other side of the post so that if anybody does inadvertently grab it, particularly little kids, and I don't know. Anyway, we'll see.